All right, good day, everyone. It's Doug here with the LincolnList.com, and this is the stock market weekly review for the 6th of July. Hope everything got off to a really good start with you for this month, as well as I hope you got a chance to do a little bit of RR over this extended 4th of July holiday weekend. As always, if you need help with your trading or you're looking to take it to the next level, visit the LincolnList.com. Take a 14-day free trial to the live trade room. We'll take a little bit of a look here, a small snapshot of the SPY, the overall market conditions, and then we'll start working on a few stocks in play for this week. And really, until Greece gets resolved, you're going to see a lot more choppy conditions and maybe a little bit more rotation towards the downside. You obviously have a little bit of resistance there at that 212, 213, unable to clear that here over the last few attempts. But now we're starting to work on or get very close to some important levels. Most notably is this 204 area, which was the support from March, and underneath of that, of course, is the 200 level. And I think if you start to close down there, you might see a test of that 200. And of course, if the 200 level is to go, then possibly, perhaps a correction. But right now, we're still just stuck in this tight range of some up days and some down days. And when you look back at the chart, you can go all the way back to Thanksgiving, and we're just about flat. So we haven't made any progress really over the last 8 months. So we'll just continue to play it day by day. As I said, in some of these past watch lists, the market's one thing, but there are still great stock opportunities and still great trades underneath of that, which we will start to talk here in just a second. And one of the stocks I want to look at, of course, is this KITE. Now, over the last couple of months here, it's built a pretty good base where you're approaching a nice little triple top extended from all the way back to April, where this 66 and a quarter is. Nice little rejection there, of course, on Friday. Maybe just a little bit too late going into the holiday weekend to see a strong move out of this. If you start to see a move that goes above that, you could see a nice little breakout that takes you up into the resistance, or there really wouldn't be any solid resistance till about 76, so there could be some significant room. One thing you don't want to do is just chase it first thing in the morning if it starts to open up there or gap up above. You may want to give yourself a little bit of time, or I suggest you give yourself a little bit of time, because often we see those stocks rip in the morning and then they'll come back down a little bit and retest some other levels. So kind of keep an eye on how this thing behaves. Pay attention to some of the dips that you get within this stock. See how they're bought up. Maybe there's some news or some PR that comes in around it that kind of gives it that little extra kick. But really, it's at an important area here. If you come above this 66 area, I would expect this thing is going to try to make a move up into some of this open air here towards the 73s. So I kind of like the way that this KITE looks right here for a nice little breakout. Another one is GTS. Try to put a play on this one Friday, but it just wasn't in the cards to get a really good bounce. This thing just got destroyed. Now, you're pretty close to some resistance, some support right down towards the 19s. I would think in this case, if you could get the open to flush out a little bit more, shake some more people out, and you flush into that 19 or lower 19 area, that would be probably a nice little entry to start picking some of this up just for a bounce. I wouldn't fall in love with this stock. I'm not talking about a trade, just a trade here. I'm not talking about an investment where you're going to sit on this thing and expect it to come back to 2026. But I think with this little flush out here, this big sell-off, if you could start Monday with a follow-through sell-off that gets you down close into 19, I think the risk to reward favors you for catching a bounce. Maybe it's 30 to 50 cents, but I think you put yourself in great position here for a decent trade on this GTS. So kind of keep that one up on the screen there just a little bit and see what happens with it. Now, I would have to say that going into this week, we talk about, it was Ahmed a couple of weeks ago as our top short play. This fit is probably ready for at least a nice little red day. I mean, this thing is really solid here on the daily, and once it got sold off on its first bounce down here to 33, you've basically gone $10 here over 4 days nonstop. So I will be looking for, you got a nice little retracement here from the intradays on Friday. I would be looking for this to sell off a little bit more even from here. Now, where it sits right now, the way this chart looks, I wouldn't be interested in shorting this right here. What I would like to see is either a small gap or an early morning push that gets rejected either at some of these pivot points, which is about 43 or 44. So, for example, if this thing is to bounce up here and then get rejected early on, then you could make a short using the above pivot or some of these other resistance areas as a stop. and then just see if this thing can't go maybe possibly from green to red, or then just really kind of take out some of these lower levels like 41.81 and such. What you don't want to do, as I have been saying a lot with these videos, is that don't chase it. If it gaps down $1, $1.50, that thing in your that tells you, hey, I might miss this short. You kind of rush into it. That's how you get burned, because we've seen so many of these stocks dive. Like you saw this nice little post-market or pre-market drop, and this thing just rips right back up. You've got drops within this stock, especially like right here on Friday, you get this really strong dump on it from 44 down into 42. And the people that chasing it, that's what happens. They get squeezed on. They get stopped out, and it just bounces from 42 right back up to 43 and a half. So whatever you do, don't chase into the red. If the flush is really bad or it gaps down a lot, then perhaps it may be a buy. But I think what I'm looking at here, the way this stock has performed and what it does, I would like to see one more small bounce and then the opportunity to get short there. So I'm going to leave it at that. As always, we never know what's going to happen. You wake up one day and there's just a ton of opportunities, and other days you don't quite get it. There's always a few stocks in play that nobody can predict. It, you just don't know what's going to happen, and that's just the way the market is. So if you're kind of struggling to find the right stocks to trade, visit thelincolnlist.com. Take a 14-day free trial. Other than that, thanks for watching this video. Enjoy your day and your week of trading. As always, if you need to get in touch with me, service at thelincolnlist.com. Talk to you soon.